Hello, and welcome to Getting Going on Azure with Datagriff. And today we're going to be creating a new virtual machine using Azure Powershell in the portal. So the first thing you need to do is go to portal.azure.com. This will take you to the Azure portal. Once there, you need to go up to this little bash symbol or cloud shell in the top right hand corner. Click that. If you haven't done this before, it'll prompt you to create a new storage account. And it'll say it'll incur a small cost, and it really will be a small cost. So just accept it, and eventually you will get to this screen where you have a cloud shell. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And what I'm going to do is make sure that PowerShell is chosen in the top left-hand corner of the screen, so I can give it PowerShell commands. And I'm going to create a new resource group in order to house our new virtual machine that we're going to create. So I'm going to type new -az resource group. And then I'm going to give it a parameter of name. And I'm going to call it my RG for resource group, and then PS for PowerShell. And the location I'm going to set as North Europe, as that's the nearest one to me. I'm going to hit return. And there you go. It said the provisioning state is succeeded. We're going to use PowerShell to make sure that that resource group has in fact deployed. So get AZ resource group. All these commands I'll post with the video. And then put a bar, and then format as table, just to make the results look a bit prettier. So I'm going to run that. And what I get is a nice table of all my resource groups. And you can see at the bottom there, I've got my resource group PowerShell. And that's in North Europe. I'm just going to minimize or drag this down for a moment. And if I refresh my portal, or refresh my entire page, you can see that I've got my resource group PowerShell. I'm going to go back into the Cloud Shell. And the next command I'm going to give it is to actually create the virtual machine itself. And so the command here is new azvm. The resource group name is the one we just created, my resource group PowerShell, my RGPS. The name of the virtual machine is going to be my VMPS. The location is going to be North Europe to match the resource group and the one closest to me. The virtual network name is going to be provisioned. I'm just going to call it my VNetPS. Subnet name, my subnetPS. The security group name is just going to be my NSGPS. So all these PSs are just standing for PowerShell. And then the public IP address name, you guessed it, my public IP PS. So I'm going to hit return. And what it's going to ask for now is a admin username and password. So I'm going to give the username as admin Griff. And then for the password, I'm going to enter something in appropriately secret. And then that's now going to go off and start deploying our Azure virtual machine. And this will take a few moments. Great, so our new virtual machine and its resources should now be deployed. What we're going to do is just minimize the cloud shell. We're going to go back into the portal, and just to confirm that our virtual machine is there, we're going to click the little hamburger in the top left hand corner. We're going to go to all services. We're going to click virtual machines. And you can see, there we go, my VMPS is there, so we've deployed our virtual machine. We're going to click into that. There it is, we can see that it's running. I'm going to click the resource group, my RGPS. And there's all the resources that we just deployed with PowerShell. So we've got our VNet, our VM, our IP addresses, and our NSGs. Now what we're going to do is do the same confirmation, but using the Cloud Shell instead of having to look in the portal. So again, navigate up to the Cloud Shell in the top right. And the next command we're going to type in is going to be get azvm, and the name of it is going to be my vmps -status, so we can get the status of it. And again, we're going to put the bar in, and we're going to get our results back nicely as a table and make that fit. So we're going to have a look at the status of our new virtual machine. we get this nice little report back saying it's in North Europe, we know the size, it's Windows, provisioning has succeeded, and the state of it is the VM is running. Great. The next thing we want to do is actually stop the virtual machine from running. So we're going to type stop -az VM. We need to give it the resource group name. So first we type in the parameter resource group name. It's going to be my RGPS because that's the resource group. And the name of the virtual machine -name my VMPS. Click return or press return. There you go, you get a little warning. And we're going to say yes, we do want to stop the virtual machine. So we type Y. So it'll take a few moments for the virtual machine to stop. Great, so the virtual machine should now be stopped, seeing as the status of the operation has succeeded. But what we're going to do is press up on our keyboard, and then up again. And what we're going to do is just run the command to get the status of the virtual machine again. So get azvm, the name and the status, and this time we should see that it's not running anymore. So press return. And there you go. We can see it's actually deallocated now because the virtual machine isn't running. Now, what we're going to do is close down our Cloud Shell. And we're going to go back into the portal. We're just going to have a look at the virtual machine and just make sure it is stopped. And you can see that the start is now highlighted and stop isn't because it's already. Now that we confirmed that our virtual machine is stopped, we can use Powershell to remove our resource group to clean up our subscription and to save costs. So we're going to go back to Cloud Shell. And then once we've got our prompt, we're going to type in remove -az resource group, and the name is my RGPS. I'm going to kick that off and say yes, we're sure we want to remove it. And then that'll start removing our resource group just so we can clean up and save costs. I hope you enjoyed this today on Getting Going on Azure with Datagryph, where we created a new virtual machine and resource group using PowerShell, using the Cloud Shell in the portal. I hope to see you next time.